Monica McNutt has some words, folks. She has some deep thoughts like Jack Handy. Yes, I use Jack Handy again because that is what these people remind me of when they try and have these so-called think pieces, I guess we could say. So she's talking about the growth of the WNBA and gets into Caitlin Clark and the fans. So this is, I think, a little over a minute long. I'm going to take a listen. We're going to talk about it. Yeah, this is kind of wild. It, like I said, it's not stopping. For those of you who don't know, no one knew who Monica McNutt was until last year when she spouted off some nonsense about Caitlin Clark. And I believe, where did she end up? Was it the Jon Stewart show or the Daily Show with Jon Stewart at the time of having come back? And she did acknowledge that she wouldn't even be sitting there without Caitlin Clark, and that is 100% true. None of you would know who she is. We wouldn't be talking about her right now, but we're going to dig into this because this is interesting, and it ties into something else with with sports media. I'm sure you're shocked.
Make it long-term commercially viable?
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Okay, first, real quick, I'm sorry. I'm going to start over. I meant to tell you the beginning of that question, it got cut off when she's talking about commercial viability. She's talking about the WNBA. Okay, that was probably clear to you, but just in case that it wasn't. So let's dig back in.
Make it long-term commercially viable?
Two things. I think it has to show up in our storytelling and it has to be encouraged by our families.
Yeah.
To me, right? And so covering the WNBA this past season, Caitlin Clark's rookie year, for all of the conversation that surrounded her, some which was fair and some which wasn't, the one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her, little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why
Same
her?
thing.
Why her?
Well, I was just about to say same thing for Angel Reese when I had a chance to cover their games, but I think Caitlin represented, and again, some of this to me probably is not fair to her because it was not anything that she said or was truly based on her personality, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
Are you stupid or something?
And so she represented a whole lot to a lot of people, whether that is truly what she prescribed to or not. We can all say she is a dynamic basketball player and a force both on the court and the marketing sense. But I do think same thing with folks that may have fallen in love with Angel Reese that may or may not have agreed with everything they had to say either. We attach our fandom to these icons for all types of reasons, and sometimes they may not be based in all truth.
What is wrong with you?
Wow. Hey, does that sound familiar? Does that sound like what's that fool's name? Eaton Thomas, who wrote that absolute trash article. Are these are these the fans that we're talking about? These these are the scary, terrible people, really? By the way, Paige Beckers, yeah, okay, Minnesota, it's a little north, but I'd call that middle America as well. But she chose to go to UConn. Now, why her? I love that. Why her? Why Caitlin? She was going for that answer. That was the answer she wanted. They probably talked about this ahead of time. Um, I'll give you a few reasons. First, again, to start off, we'll start off with the basketball, okay? Playing in an entertaining, exciting style that we had never seen before in the women's game. I won't go into all the details. I've done that in numerous videos. But for the little girls, even though, yes, they were excited to watch her play, she played differently. But then also, there are the intangibles, and I've equated this to, actors as well. There are tons of talented actors that never get more than supporting roles or, cameos, or they come in though and they tear up a scene and you love them. And every time you see something like, oh, I know that person from I don't remember where, but they don't have that X factor. They don't have that thing you can't define, right? We can talk about charisma, screen presence, whatever it is you want to call it, the it factor. But Caitlin Clark, and I'm not saying there aren't other athletes, but in what I've seen with her and in interviews and talking about it more than any other athlete I can see in recent memory is her embrace of the young fans specifically. How much she loves the young fans, how excited she is to have them there, how important it is to her that not only that they support her, but that she supports them as well and gives back to them and encourages them. And Caitlin Clark wants to make a difference for them, not just in her performance on the court that they will enjoy and find exciting, but in their lives. And, you can look at what she's already done by age 23 in terms of charity work. And got started. Maybe she did it before, but we know we've talked about it with Iowa and started there, and then the Caitlin Clark Foundation. And I did a video recently about the multi-use futsal basketball courts in the Des Moines school system that she was involved in putting in. And then there was another thing with all of the books. And so these young fans are very important to Caitlin Clark as people. They're important to Caitlin Clark as people, and her ability to impact their lives positively above and beyond her performance on the court and the enjoyment that they as fans get from it.
She is the one.
And it is disgusting to me that people like Monica McNutt either can't get that, and if they can't get that, they should not be in these sports media positions, period. Or that they do get it, but they don't care because it is not the story that they want to tell. It's not the narrative that they want you to know about and they want you to embrace, right? We know exactly what they're talking about when they say middle America. Just like Eaton Thomas did. Middle America is the same thing as flyover country. It is supposed to be an insult. And to continue with this nonsense is absolutely appalling to me that Monica McNutt, after everything that's gone on, that she would be on here. She had to see how she had tried to, I guess, thread the needle, so to speak, where she's like, oh, well, it's not Caitlin's fault. It's not Caitlin's fault that this is the reason that her fans like her. It's not Caitlin's fault that it's about her lack of tan and not her basketball and not her personality and not how much she embraces these kids and not how much she wants to affect them positively off the court in their lives, unlike so many athletes nowadays who couldn't give a damn about the fans, like the video I just did with Angel Reese telling her own podcast fans to STFU and stop watching because she doesn't want them to have anything critical to say. Right? It's not Alyssa Thomas and what she's calling the Fever fans. It's not 99.9% of these WNBA players who actually do not like fans. And to be fair, it's the NBA as well. NBA players are making 10, 20, 30, $50 million a year guaranteed, and they're doing load management crap. They don't care. Far too many athletes do not give a crap about fans, and Caitlin Clark is one of the few that I've seen that goes way above and beyond. And by the way, I'll leave you with this last thought. I know you longtime listeners probably sick of it, but Allen Iverson, he was so loved and embraced in Philadelphia, not just because of what an incredible basketball player was, but because he got that. He got that in that respect. He understood the fans. He embraced the fans. He loved the fans. And because of that, he was loved. It really is that simple, Monica. And by the way, I don't look like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson and I probably have nothing in common but a love of basketball. And he's one of my favorite players of all time. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Go have the day you deserve, and I will talk to you later.